So what is a cell, a column, and a row? Pretty straightforward. That is a cell, any one cell, any one box within a spreadsheet. A column takes its name from columns of buildings. A column is a vertical row, is a vertical column. A row is horizontal across the spreadsheet. Next, how do you select a column, row, or the whole spreadsheet? Well, I just showed you column. You click the letter to get the column. You click the number to get the row. That's how you select the whole thing. And up here, you click the top left box to select the entire spreadsheet. Next, how do I insert a new column or row? I don't have how on the question, but now you know. So let's say I want to insert a new column. First of all, I pick a reference column, and now I can right-click, and now I can insert either one to the left or to the right. So I've now inserted a new column to the left of the one that I selected. You can also use the insert menu to do exactly the same thing. And as you would imagine, it works exactly the same for rows. It's above or below. How do you sort data? Hint, it's in the data menu. So let's start by selecting the entire spreadsheet. And let's say I want to sort by period. So I go to the data menu, and you see I have sort by sheet and sort by range, and then sort range. This one, sort range, gives you the most control. So first of all, it asks me, does my data have a header row? It does. That's this whole first row. That's a header row, meaning it tells you what each row is about, but it also takes that row out of the sort. If I didn't select that, it would sort the header into the data. You don't want that. So I'm going to sort by period, but then I'm going to click add another sort column, and I'm also going to sort by timestamp. And so now you see I've sorted by period and by time within that period, right? So you can do multiple different sorts, to different types of sorts. So let's look at something else. So how are you feeling today, or how are you today? Go back to data. Let's look at sort sheet versus sort range. So if I want to sort sheet, I can do that, and that will sort this column, but it'll also keep the rows associated with the data in that column. However, let's go back. If I do data sort range, I'm sorting only the data in that column, and I'm disassociating that data with its row. It's a super bad thing to do most of the time. Only infrequently will you ever want to sort by range. And here's one of the drawbacks of a spreadsheet, is you can screw things up really quickly, right? So sorting by range is probably something you will rarely, if ever, want to do, because most of the time you want to keep the row contiguous, connected. You want to keep all of the data in the row in the same row, and so you want to sort the entire sheet by a column. What does it mean to filter data? So let's go back to selecting the whole spreadsheet, and let's click the filter icon. You'll see all of a sudden I get all these little icons. I could select any one row of data or column of data and click the filter icon, and now I've got that icon only for that column, right? But let's do it for the whole spreadsheet. So now let's say I only want to see people who are having an awful day. And so now I have, whoops. Come on, Steve. Awful. And okay. So now I've basically removed from the screen all of the non-awful day people, right? So a filter gives you a way to look only at, and let's say I want to look at awful day people from fifth period, right? So it gives me a way to sort of take out data, to remove from the screen. It's not deleting it, just taking it out of your way. Okay. Stop. Next, how do you filter data? In column, In column H and K, the data is not of the same type. How do I fix that? So let's take a look. It's actually not column H and K. It is. So in column H, you see I've got numbers and I've got some that say more than. So I'm going to start by doing a sort, and I'm going to sort the whole sheet, not the range, backwards. Because when I sort it backwards, it gives me everything that's text above everything that's a number. I sorted my header out, which is annoying. So then I can turn this one into 5. Instead of more than 5, now it's a number. So one thing that's nice is if I grab this little box here, see this little blue box, and pull down, and keep going until I get to the numbers, it's called fill down. And it changes all of the boxes that I pulled it through. Okay, it's different than just selecting. So I undid all of those sorts so that I have my header row back at the top. Next. So that was number 9. Let's look at making charts. So let's take a look at how are you today. So I'm going to select this column and I'm going to hit right here the insert chart button. When I hit the insert chart button, I get no data. I don't know why Google does it this way. They should always by default click the aggregate column F because it doesn't make sense that they don't, but that's what was missing, right? It's basically saying make this chart from the data in column F that I have selected, right? So now you can see I've got actually a very nice chart that shows me graphically who said what and in what numbers. And I can do sorts on this too, and that'll change the chart. So if I say sort, now I get this nice, going from awful to great kind of thing, right? So let me back out of this again. And now I could also do the same sort of thing, but with a pie chart, right? So of all of the people, so this is data that represents really well on a pie chart, shows everybody as the sum total of the chart, and then the percentage of people who said each thing. There you go. Thank you. Well done. So you can see how you play with all of these things. All right, so let's look at these columns. So let me get rid of this. I have to go back a couple times here to get my date and time back. There. So here it says double click the first date in the date cell. So right now it looks like I've just typed a date in there. But the reality is that that's the result of a formula. Right? So it's just like the code we were writing. This shows formulas. That says left C2 9. It simply means go to cell C2, start at the left, and count 9 characters, and put that into the cell. Same thing with the timestamp, except it's right C2 8. Because this timestamp has a predictable number of characters, I can do that. So something else that's really cool that I showed you earlier about this little box. So I can drag this down. Now your expected behavior may have been that it would put 828.217 in every cell. It's smarter than that. What it actually does is it maintains the relative reference. So it knows that it's not supposed to look at C2 when it's in the 10th row. It's supposed to look at C10. So you can do all of those pull downs for all of these. And the final question on your spreadsheet is, what question can this data answer? So this is why all of this is interesting and valuable. Let's say I want to know of all of the people, how did people report their day if they did not eat breakfast? Or if they did not eat breakfast or dinner? Does fifth period do more homework than first period? All of those sorts of questions you can answer with this data. So what I want you to do in the last question, the last box, is let me know what questions that you could ask of this data. I'm going to show you how to do that later.